Okay, these are instructions on how to create the Impressionism reproduction artwork on Photoshop or Photopea. So you can use either or. It's very similar. I'm using Photoshop for my tutorial, but Photopea is almost the same. So if you remember, Impressionism artwork usually it's very strokey. It's not super realistic. Um, so the lines, it's all about the brush strokes. You can see the actual brush strokes, and we're gonna just copy one of these. So on Google Classroom, there is this assignment, and I want you to go through these different famous impressionist paintings and save one to reproduce yourself or forge. So I'm just going to click this one. You will click on the painting, and then you can right click, save image as, and you can save it to your desktop. I already have it saved, so I'm not going to save it right now. So choose the one you want to use, and then I'm going to go into Photoshop. And there's no, I'm not giving you dimensions because we're actually going to open the artwork. So at the top, go ahead and go to File, Open. And I'm just going to find the one that I want to use on my desktop. I'll do this one. And I have it open in Photoshop or Photopea. So over here in the layers bar, the background in Photoshop is locked. I don't believe it is locked in Photopea, so you don't have to worry about this. So in Photoshop, there's a little lock right here. Go ahead and click that to unlock it. And it turns into layer 0. So what we're going to do first is eventually we're going to be deleting this layer so we just see our artwork. So we're going to create a new layer, which we won't need right away, but we're just going to make it. So we'll just name this white because it's going to be the white background. So I'm going to hide this layer just for a second. So you click this little eyeball so we don't see it any longer, and then make sure you are on the white layer over here. Go ahead and go to the paint bucket tool, and then for the color of the paint bucket, we're just going to go white. So in the corner here, and just fill this background. Okay, so then you are going to just drag this so it's under layer 0. We won't need to worry about that for a little bit. And then I'm going to turn this back on. So I'll click that eyeball. Then we're going to create another layer, and this layer is going to be our painting. So I'm going to name it my painting. And then be sure you are on the my painting layer. If you are working on this layer 0, or the initial layer, that's gonna be wrong, and you're gonna have to do a lot of work, and you're gonna lose everything that you work on. So you have to be in the my painting layer, a separate layer, because this is going to be our personal work. Okay, so then next thing you're going to do is zoom in. So on Mac, it's Command plus on the keyboard. On the PC, it's Control plus, just to zoom in and out. So then I'm going to show you the eyedropper tool. So over here in the toolbar, we have the eyedropper right here, but I'm going to show you the shortcut key because it's going to save you a ton of time. So instead of manually clicking this in the toolbar, all you need to do is on the keyboard, press the letter I. So and it changes the cursor to our little eyedropper tool. And what the eyedropper tool does is when you click, this will come up, so it'll just flash for a second. It collects the color of that area in the artwork. So if I were to zoom in super close to this painting, you can see all of the pixels, and what that eyedropper tool does is it collects the color of that pixel. And then you can copy that color. This is really useful, especially for this kind of project, but for any other Photoshop projects, if you want to match colors, this is really easy. So we have collected our color, and then we are going to switch to the brush tool. So again, you could manually go over to the toolbar over here and click the brush tool, or even faster, click B on your keyboard. This is going to save you a ton of time. So again, I for the eyedropper, B for the brush, and you're going to be using these for this whole project. So I really highly recommend you learn these shortcut keys and get used to using them. Okay, so I collected my pixel. I'm in my painting layer. I'm going to switch over to the brush, and like the impressionist artists of that time, I'm just going to start copying these colors. Okay, so kind of the general color, maybe I collect some of this kind of more greenish blue color. and adding these. So you can see my little strokes. That's what Impressionism was all about, were the brush strokes, not making things super hyper realistic. And then over here you can see we have the darker ones. So I'll switch to my eyedropper, go back to brush, and I'm just creating these small strokes. Now, this is a tedious project, so it's going to take a long time. It's not hard, just tedious. So you want to try to fill all as much as the frame as you can. So you're going to do this whole thing. So if I were to, I'm going to zoom out for a second. If I close the eyeball here, I can see my work that I've done so far. Eventually, once you have done the entire artwork, we are going to delete this layer. So I'll show you how to do that right now. Click your the original artwork layer, and then you're going to right click and you are going to delete layer. So then you are left with your work in the white background, and then you're going to file, save as a JPEG, and turn that into Google Classroom.